To see how the template works and how you can use it for your own project, I suggest we take a quick tour inside. So I'm heading over to the code repository on Codeberg, or I download it from Gedit. You should normally find a recent version of the program there. Just download the zip file. And once that's done, we extract it. There you go. Inside the template, you'll find a private folder, which should normally be kept out of the code repository. You need to rename it, that's indicated in the to-do list here. And you'll find to-dos scattered throughout the directory structure. So take a look at what's inside. In the private folder, you'll find configuration files that should never appear in code repositories. That is, the ones containing private keys, encryption keys, API tokens, and so on. In the assets folder, you'll find the default icons. They are generated by PicMob generator, but nothing stops you from replacing the files you're interested in, or simply regenerating your icon using the tools provided in Delphi. From now on, in libexterns, you'll find the 6 code repositories as submodules, and here in the zip file, in fact, they're already downloaded, you just have to use them. However, they won't be updated automatically. You'll need to replace the contents of this folder with those from another version when you want to update. If you want to use this template in a project that's on a Git repository, you can replace this libexterns with the corresponding submodules. Next, you'll find the packages. These are the components you need to install for the starter kit to work, so that it can function in the form designer. It uses the components found in these folders, so install them before starting anything. And then, in the source folder, you'll find the default project, which you can rename and fill in, as well as the files you need to customize based on what's provided in the starter kit. After that, there are the JIT files with explanations about the code repository and instructions on what to do. For example, here you have information, a list of things to do at the start, and possibly other additional information, depending on the version you're looking at. Both are in French and English. So I'm going to go into Delphi on the project that I unzipped. First step, the component packages. You open them. Ah, yes, of course. Yes, a small mistake. On my part, I was linking to components that are no longer available. It's not a big deal. I'll fix that in the zip so you get the components, it installs the packages for you, and then you can start working. If you don't have them directly, you'll find them anyway in the code repositories. And then we're going to open the template project from the source. So it opens the README that's at the root of the project with information about the code repository and the links to the repositories you need to get. And the link to the to-do list, either in French or English, depending on what you're looking at in the final project. I don't need it, so I'll remove it. There we go, and we're going to configure them. All of that, so here, actually, if I run the project normally, it works. Even if it doesn't do anything. By default, you have an About dialog box with a certain amount of information, online help that by default points to the starter kit. The ability to change the project's default language. The ability to change the project's default look with the FMX styles that are embedded in the starter kit files. The first thing to configure once you're in here is to go into the constants. So when you compile, you get all the warnings that are set up in the project. They tell you what to change and what to do. Well, warnings and fatal messages, depending on the case. First thing is save constant in your project folder. That's already done since it's in the template. And then, well, customize. So I can remove this one. My version, for example, will be 1.0. I'll be working on a project dated today, and this will be my program, my project. C 2025 me. This project has a URL, let's say purdue.com, lost on the internet. You can also add a URL for the purchase buttons if you want. For the license, you can also add a URL for the buttons and menus related to information that lets users access the project help or contact the author. Here, I'm going to remove everything. Next, we have the folder where the information generated by the program will be stored. By default, for example, it's settings. So we have a folder with the editor and a folder with the software, so everything is in the same directory structure. So let's say all to the esteemed editor, and I would like to respectfully submit this letter for your consideration. Here is the list of default languages. It's French and English in my programs, so I left that in the template for you. You can obviously set whatever language you want as the default language. When the operating system's language isn't recognized by the program, you then have the type of style you want to use. Light, dark, the systems, or custom. This can be configured in the program, so when you're in light mode, you can choose the style you want to use. By default, we have the light and dark styles provided by Delphi for all platforms, and I've added a few more at this level. Coral, Golden, Graphite, Transparent, and Windows 10 Blues. These are also provided with Delphi in recent versions. You can, of course, add your own if you want. You just need to reference it in the style unit. You add your style book, specifying only the platform for which the style should be used. Above all, don't make a mistake. And if needed, you can condition the style's content based on the platform. This one works on all of them. And most importantly, you call this method here, and your style must be a container style, either an ancestor or a descendant of the test style container ancestor in order to be referenced in the project. The result returned by getStyleName can be used in your constants for configuration. So here it's light, dark, and by default, it will be dark if the user chooses their own. We have the type of document that can be handled by the program. For now, only none is supported. Mono and multi work, but not completely. Some menu options and a few features are missing. I'll let you know when that's the case. In any case, that doesn't prevent the program from working, but not everything will be fully operational as it is supposed to be. So by default, I choose none. After that, these are settings that depend on the type of project. The folder for storing the key for CLTSEG APIs is here. You don't have to use it, but you'll still need to include it in the project. You don't have to fill it in since you're not required to use my license management system or anything else. In this case, I'm going to use it. So I need it. Same for project version management, since it's also CLTSEG that manages my program versions. So I only include it in the release because I don't want it to prompt me for download features or license updates and so on. In debug mode, the rest should be transparent. It will handle itself. There are a few features like the ability to enable or disable the F1 key to display the About dialog window. You have the escape key to possibly exit. Report memory leaks on shutdown by default in debug, but not in release. And 2 or 3 other settings that you'll find in the file. It's up to you to handle them as needed. You also have to-dos that you can find in the menus, so View, then Tool Windows, and To-Do List. And so there you'll find the project's to-dos. The ones that are for the owners, Developer Pascal, are my responsibility. You don't need to touch those. All the others are for you. You need to take care of them. There you go. That's it for the constants and the project parameters. I'm going to do it anyway. And so my program now has a new name, a version number, and other information. Well, no, because it's missing the information in this case. I gave it the correct path to access the information. Obviously, I need to go and fill them in. And so here we set this one. So I forgot to rename the project before launching it. So obviously the file doesn't exist. I leave just one underscore, reopen the program, and I can compile it. There you go. So I do have the information I set in the configuration. In the main window, the main form, actually you mainly need to fill in the get new doc if you want to handle the concept of documents, whether it's handled by the starter. Otherwise, you can just remove it or leave that section empty. As for DM about box logo storage, that's the logo that appears in the dialog box. So of course, put your own icon or something else if you want to replace the default icon. The about description and about license text are simply the two texts that appear in the about dialog box. That is the description in the top section and the license in the bottom section. Here is the description and here is the license. You can of course manage them in multiple languages if you want to here. Just don't forget to handle it on both sides and for both. What else did we have left? Actually, these are the only files you need to configure. Now, once that's done, it's up to you to fill in the main form and do the work you want. In this project, either by reusing parts from an existing project or by creating your own interfaces. The forms must inherit from not from the main one. Form ancestor, obviously, that's only for the main form. All forms must inherit from tform ancestor to support translations and style changes. You have several ancestors. In fact, there's a tform ancestor and a tframe ancestor in the project. Your forms and your frames must inherit from these two at one or more levels if you want them to properly support the starter kit. If you have existing projects, you can either modify the existing files manually to hard inherit these features, which is always risky. Otherwise, you can copy and paste the information, or rather the contents of the forms and the code, depending on the screen sizes and other factors. That might be the simplest way. It's up to you to decide. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask me by contacting me regarding the code repository or directly through the contact links, a website, and so on. That's it for this program. A little extra things. The project manages default settings, which are stored in the uconfig unit. You can add a helper class for the tconfig to add your own parameters and hook into the existing system. You can find examples in my video games. In particular, it's the same principle as for the Gamorph FMX game starter kit. As for the documents themselves, there's a unit called uDocument Ancestor, where I've created some basic classes. Similarly, there's still a bit of work to finish on some of them. Normally, you just need to inherit from one of them to be able to handle the corresponding document format and for it to be taken into account in the rest of the project. If you want your document type to be fully customized, you still need to inherit from tDocument Ancestor to keep things simple. This way, everything will be managed correctly in the application, in the starter kit, so that certain features, especially opening and closing files, can be handled automatically, saving you from having to write that part of the code. I think that's all I had to say about that. Also, take a look at the other videos and the source code of the projects I've already migrated to this system and let me know if you need anything.